I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. A slight chance of showers and storms tonight with a low of 55. Then Saturday, sunshine with a high of 78. The music is still the hottest at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. View their upcoming music schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. It is Casual Friday here at GhostBox Radio. I hope everyone had a great week, and I hope that you are able to enjoy the weekend. And thank you for spending it with us as we ease into the weekend here with maybe some paranormal content and just whatever's on your mind. Don't forget, folks, Casual Friday is all about what you have in your mind. And we're going to do question of the week here in a second. We'll talk about that. You can put your answers into the comments. You can also call in tonight, 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. You can call in if you want to answer question of the week, or if there's something paranormal on your mind that you'd like to share. Meanwhile, over in Eden Prairie, we have Adam. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well tonight. It's almost the weekend. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Inching closer and closer. Joanne apparently is an hour closer to the weekend than we are. So I shake my fist at you. But otherwise, we're getting there.
Well, she is in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the fabled Canadas. I want to go so bad.
Yeah, so she's there, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I have this ability of saying where people are from, and it turns out they're like from the completely opposite side of the planet from where I think they are. And that's just kind of how it is. And, you know, you could tell you're getting to Friday because of... like this morning, I woke up as if I woke up from a nap. And you know what that is sometimes. You're like, you wake up from a nap and you're just kind of like, who am I? But that's kind of how I woke up this morning. Like, have I ever been in here before? You know, I don't know. Maybe I astral projected somewhere, but I think more than likely I just was like, wow. And so it's one of those days where that fatigue has followed me throughout the entire day. And that's great. You know, that's always fun. So
mine are just the allergies. So
yeah, you are kind of allergied up, aren't you?
I don't think I've had allergies this bad in years, but we've had back-to-back like super dry winters. So there's all kinds of just nasty stuff just floating through the air right now. And oh boy, am I feeling it.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's there's nothing good about that. That's for sure.
No, but let's try for some national sponsorship. Guys from Halls, I'm living on you right now. You can sponsor us here at GhostBox Radio.
Yeah,
Right on.
I'm sure they're going to get right on that. Of
They
course,
should. They should. It's better than Blue Chew. I'm telling you that.
I am. I'm slightly frustrated, but I understand that like this weekend. First of all, this weekend's going to be a very hot weekend. It's going to be also a dry weekend, and I am my area that I live in. We're not allowed to burn anything, so I can't do any arson this weekend. I'm just kidding. Come on. But what I can't do is I can't grill because I use charcoal and I use like the chimney to start, and it's an open flame, and I've never had any problems with it, but very well the one time that I'm like, I've never had a problem with this, so even though there is a fire restriction, I'm gonna just do it anyway. I'm gonna be that guy who not listens. I'll burn down the neighborhood. So I can stave off grilling for a week or whatever, just to make sure everyone is safe. So no grilled chicken wings tonight. Chicken Wing Friday I got chicken wings from somewhere else, but it's not the same. Who are we kidding here? It's not the same. So, and I don't know if that fire restriction's in your area or not, but it's certainly up in ours.
I'm kind of sitting here thinking to myself, I had no idea you couldn't grill during a fire restriction because I grill all the time, fire restriction or not.
To me, it's just like, and maybe I'm oversimplifying it. If there's an open flame involved, and I don't mean like a gas grill, maybe a gas grill too. I don't know. But to me, it's like I have when I empty my chimney, there's flames coming out of the top of the chimney. Therefore, it's an open flame, and maybe sparks, when I dump it, there's sparks that come out. So it's like,
but I don't use the chimney though. So I think that's where the difference lies.
Is there any open flame when you start your stuff on fire in your grill?
At the very beginning, but it eventually calms down to where the coals are just hot. Plus, mine is over concrete.
Yeah. Well, let's just see how it goes. You let me know. You burn
I'll grill out this weekend, and if I get arrested, I will. You will be my one call and be, Greg, I'm not going to be in Monday. You were right. Can't grill for the weekend.
Well, as long as we're both under the understanding that you calling me is not so I can help you, but more taunt you and laugh at you.
And it's more calling in for Monday since, you are kind of my boss.
Yeah. Well, we don't use terminology like that. So, all right. So we got that taken care of. That the grill situation is for me at least. As someone who wants to not burn down the neighborhood, man. I'm not grilling. Apparently, Adam could care less about.
I'm a rebel.
You may not even have it in your area, quite frankly.
We might not. I don't know. I haven't looked. I haven't really been home the last couple of days.
That's clear. You haven't looked. So that much we could really understand. No, it's just something that came up, and I'm just like, oh, for goodness sake, being selfish as I am, I was just like, oh, come on. So that you got that. I do want to just also once again talk about. I was just laughing about this, and maybe I'm the only one that finds this funny. Is that Wednesday we had Ghost Stories, and it was very successful. We had Andra Sakala there from Haunt TV's Haunted Discovery. She's a line producer for there, and she shared a lot of great stories, but she didn't share as much as she wanted. And this is the preface to it all, because I don't want people to be like, oh, I'm picking on somebody, or I'm trying to tell people not to go to Billy's or anything. It's none of that. I just find it funny. Okay, folks. That is my disclaimer here. But we're in a conversation because I'm interviewing her, and she has a lot of fans, a lot of friends, a lot of people there. It's pretty packed, and so we're doing the presentation. I'm interviewing her, and so it'd be like, so how is it like, on the set of Haunted Discoveries? And she'd be like, it's very serious, like things would happen I couldn't explain. She's really going into detail, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, because we didn't realize the waitress came down the stairs, she's just like, "Who ordered the chicken strips?" There's no barometer whatsoever. Like, what? And then so we would just stop, we'd let the food get delivered, and we'd start up again, and little. She'd get back into the role because it takes a while because everyone starts talking again after the food and whatever, and and going on and on and on, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you hit once again, I have a cheeseburger. Who got the cheeseburger? So it's like, okay, all right. Well, once again, we'll wait. Once again, folks, I'm not ripping on this person. She had to deal with about nearly 40 people all talking, but we've never had it quite like that at Ghost Stories. I thought that was pretty funny. There was also no reading the room either, because it was quiet when she's down there. But you know what? She knows that people rather get food than listen to us talk, I think. So
The sad thing is the way you're talking, it sounds like that should be like an SNL or an old Mad TV sketch.
yeah.
But it would be something like, for example, what just took place. We can be current during conclave. The bishops or cardinals or whatever, and they're voting, and you have the one waiter who ordered the chicken wings. While voting for the Pope.
That's funny. Yeah. Danielle says, going back to the controversial topic we brought up earlier about the grilling, she says, just checked, our city allows grilling during a burn ban. By the way, we do not live in the same city, Adam and I. We've made sure of that. Preferably gas, but charcoal is acceptable as well. So there you go.
I guess I'm acceptable to an extent.
Well, I mean, that's what your wife said, but she would say that, wouldn't she?
Yeah,
well, actually, she wouldn't.
Probably not.
Also, since that's there too, I want to also thank author Daniel Myers for dropping off some books at your house of the Knight's Trials. And that was very kind of him to do so. Really appreciate that.
It really was. And I'll bring your copies in on Monday. Or I could drop him off by your house, but he was your neighbor and he didn't even know where you lived.
No. You know why? Because he is one of those people that would just stop by and be like, "Hey, we're going to have some grilling at my house. Do you want to come up?" Don't stop by my house. If you want to know what anxiety is for me, don't come near me in my in my natural habitat here. I just, something about it. If I see people coming up to the drivewai, it's just like nope.
You board up the windows like it's Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, just like I have the pot of boiling oil that's always simmering that I can just go the window above the doorway if I need to do that. No, I don't. And Dan, being such a nice person, he would, I'm sure, very often want to ask me to stop on over or whatever. And it's nothing against Dan. It's just against the desire to want to be friends. No, I'm just kidding. I get very anxiety ridden about that sort of thing. I don't know why. I always have been. Been that way.
I feel you on that one, because someone invites you over to do something that just gives you something. All of a sudden you feel indebted to that person.
There's that too.
Now I got to do something nice for them or send them a Christmas card or something. Like,
Yeah, no, and I mean, I've been over to his house before. They made steaks. He's fantastic. He talked about the brisket he smokes and everything, and it's truly incredible food. And him and his wife Kelly are truly wonderful people. So, like I said, it's nothing against them. It's more of I get like you're not on my schedule anymore. You're doing your own thing. You're on your own schedule coming to me, and that's hard.
Yeah, it definitely can be, especially when you're, into just doing your own thing. You don't have planned for anybody to come by and be nice or anything like that. Yeah, I know that could be,
or dress.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't mean dress like clothes, just like, anything. And so, I mean, that's just kind of where that's at. It reminds me of my dad. And my dad, I mean, he would still answer the door. And I remember a new neighbor next door, and ding dong, it's around dinner time on a Sunday. And my dad answers the door, and the guy's like, "Hey, do you have such and such? We could borrow some tool or something." And my dad's just like, "You came at an inopportune time. It's like, and everyone in the house was just like, oh, here we go. It's like my dad isn't trying to start anything. He's just, perhaps like myself, fairly blunt with our words, and it just was really funny. And so I don't even go there. I just keep the door shut. It looks like the house is abandoned. When someone comes up to the door, it just looks like no one's ever lived here. It's like some ghostly, like, go away.
See, that's what you need, one of those Ring doorbell things, so you can really mess with people.
Oh yeah, no, and just security wise, there's, St. Michael is a great place, but there's a fair amount of stuff that happens here. And I don't say that as like, we're the only ones, but I say it more like, because I think a lot of people, and I remember Robert, who I rent the basement to, very early on, when he'd go to work, he would leave because he has a back door, like a sliding patio door, because he's in the level with the patio. I don't know why I set it up that way. Anyway, he has the patio door, and he would just leave the screen door open, and I'd just find, like, I'd be out back and see it open and he's gone. It's like, no, that's not how that works. You got to shut the door. St. Michael is not the country. So people just think of it being something other than that. So yeah, it's
like they had crime in Mayberry, they can have crime in St. Michael. Knock that off.
Right, exactly. And we got a high population of teenagers who are just doing teenage sort of stuff. They're just, and some of it is borderlines on really nasty. Some of it's just like kind of petty, but they're teenagers. That's what the stuff they do, and that's always the fun part. The Facebook St. Michael bulletin board, you get all these, parents that are probably younger than I am talking about, you gotta make sure your kids are blah blah blah, because they're ringing the doorbell and they're running away and all this stuff. It's like, shut up, you did the same thing.
If Ding Dong Ditch is the worst thing happening there, y'all got no problems.
I mean, we've seen where people's cars get broken into, and that's just like, well, yeah, that's horrible. But yes, that's exactly my point, is like, you got to tell them to stop, ringing people's doorbells. Oh my God. I had that happen here for about a week, like for like 3-4 days straight. Someone would do that and it's just like, they're going to get bored eventually. What they're looking for is someone, crazy old man Bakun coming out there. You stop that right now. I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. And I couldn't get the boiling oil done in time. So, that was also a big problem.
Being such a fan of the Brits, though, I figured you would have had a cow on a catapult ready to go, like in Monty Python.
Well, where I got the boiling oil idea from, actually, is do you remember all those riots in London about 10-15 years ago?
Yeah.
So when I was out there one time, I was talking with some people who are friends of mine through the British television thing, and one of them, a guy named Simon, he was like in exactly where it was all happening. And I said to him, like, what did you do? Like, were you worried or something? He goes, I had a pot of boiling oil that I was ready to pour out the top window on him. I'm just like, that's yeah, right. And he's like, no, I'm serious. I'm like, okay.
They will get medieval on your ass over
no kidding. I'm like, okay. And it's just like, then you start to see more of his views on life, and you're like, oh yeah, the boiling oil does seem to make sense in your existence. I get it. So that's kind of how he is. Before we head off to break here, I also want to say, because I see Doug in the comments, he's like, we got to go to the next ghost stories. The next ghost stories is going to be June 4th at Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka. Our topic for June is going to be all things Bigfoot. If you've had experiences with Bigfoot, please, come on out, share them with us. We'll share our experiences, some that we've talked about before, others we haven't. And also, if, depending, and I'll talk to Shar what she thinks of it, might pull some excerpts from some shows that we've done that focused on Bigfoot with authors and stuff, just as, play like 5 minutes here or there. We'll see. But that's going to be June 4th over at Billy's in Anoka. So please come out there and check it out. Adam, why don't we do this? Why don't we take our first break? When we come back, I want to talk about some of the events coming up that I want people to put on their calendar, as well as question of the week. I also want to talk about Conjuring Last Rites. We have a lot going on here, and we just got started. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
It's that time of year again where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lilliput is the perfect place and is open for the season. Be the first to take on their newest escape room, The Bunker. It's intense, exciting, and totally unforgettable. Prefer spooky? Try the Haunted Mansion. When you're done escaping, hit the mini golf course, go-karts, and jump pads. Lilliput is perfect for parties and group events too. Visit lilliput.net for hours and start your spring adventures at Lilliput. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Des Moines Con returns to the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall May 30th through June 1st. Des Moines Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Des Moines Con is bigger and better than ever before with guests like Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, also from Daredevil, Full Metal Jacket, Law & Order, Saturday Only, plus other great guests from voice actors to authors over the entire weekend. 3 days of action-packed fun at the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall. Tickets start at $60. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at DesMoinesCon.com. And don't forget, Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo and Twin Cities Con are coming up this year too. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to NerdStreetUSA.com for more information.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
It is Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio. We're helping you get into the weekend. I hope you have a fantastic one. If there's anything on your mind you want to talk about, paranormal related, give us a call, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. If you are watching us on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook, please consider sending stars our way. Stars is not meant to make me rich, but more to help the algorithm so that we are able to be seen by more people on Facebook and get the word out a little bit more, get more people a part of our community. It's one way to support us. Another way to support us is through the Patreon. Once again, AM 950 and GhostBox are fairly separate entities, so any sort of help that anyone could give to support on Patreon is a great help to me. And we have our audio archive going way back to before my AM 950 days. A lot of great content. I'm going to talk about one here in a second. And it's just a lot of fun. Go to patreon.com/GhostBox Radio. I'd also like to congratulate Adam. I think, is that our first spot? The Detroit Con, my God. Des Moines Con ad with your voice. Is that the first GhostBox ad you've done for us, or have you done one more?
I've done another one when we were giving away tickets to the Voyage Demeter.
Ah, that's right. That's right.
I voiced that one too.
I thought this turned out really well.
I thought it did too. You had the nerd of the studio make the ad, which makes sense.
And I think a small amount of that success can be attributed to you. I think the professional mixing of the spot is what really brings out the quality of it. But
Yeah, Brett did a wonderful. Oh wait, you
no,
mixed
he
that.
did
That's
not
right.
do it.
Yeah.
He did not do that. I know my own work, and it's amazing. So no, it's and Des Moines Con is coming up, and we're going to be out there. I will be presenting at it. I just sent over the description for it, which I call it "Welcome to the Paranormal," and we're going to be talking about all sorts of paranormally sort of things, including a lot of audio and some imagery and stuff like that we're going to do there. So that's going to be great. Once again, Des Moines Con is May 30th through June 1st at the Iowa Events Center. It's going to be amazing. Go to DesMoinesCon.com, DesMoinesCon.com, to make sure that you are able to get to get in there. It's going to be great. It's not that far from us. It's I'm talking with Chad about I'm like, it's 4 hours away. And he's like, it's not 4 hours away to Des Moines. And I looked it up, and it's like 3 hours and 58 minutes. All right, Chad, you're right. It's not 4 hours away. Sorry, I didn't realize that we had to be pinpoint accurate with everything we say around here. So yeah, no, that's fine as well. A couple other places that I'm going to be coming up here because I would love to see you there, and we're not saying it so that you come out and see either Adam or myself, but it's more just to support these wonderful events coming up that have been kind enough to allow us in Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair. And Maria Shaw's Bloomington Convention is going to be May 17th, a week from tomorrow, at the Doubletree by Hilton, Minneapolis Airport. Please make sure that you take some time, get out there, go to Charvinity Psychic Fairs on Facebook, and you can also go to charvinityspsychicfair.com. Or sorry, it's charvinityfairs.com if I'm not mistaken. I'm doing this without looking, of course. And check out who's going to be there. The type of practitioners, what they're going to be doing. There's someone for everybody, let alone Maria Shaw, who is just truly amazing at what she does. You will not be disappointed. And it's really one of those conventions, events that have a lot of heart to them. Shar is going to be joining us on Tuesday. We'll talk a little bit more about the event and talk about what's going on. But we have something else we'll talk about as well. It's going to be great. And then we talked about Des Moines Con, which is May 30th through June 1st. And then June 6th through 8th, Ecto Cruise will be putting on Tail the Boo out of Baraboo. Sorry, gosh, let's try this again. Is this live, by the way, Adam? Or can we just do another take here?
Yeah, sure. I'll edit all this out.
Okay, before it goes on the air?
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be good. Yeah, no, good. Because I really asked not to do a live show. So let's try this again.
All right, take two in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Then on June 6th through 8th, Ecto Cruise will be putting on Take the Boo out of Baraboo. Yeah, that's what that is. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can find out more about that over, go to Facebook, go to Ecto Cruise, and check it out. Like their page. You're going to find out, not only they're doing this, they do a lot of amazing stuff. I'm going to be out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think it's great. Someone just told me, Adam, this is actually live. You lied to me.
Oh, snap. My bad.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Oh, that's what that red thing that says live is there in the top left corner. Oh, wow. I thought Brett would have trained me better on this stuff.
Well, I'm sure he didn't even talk to you about the key. So
the what?
Exactly. So please check that out. I'll be putting that. I've been putting that on my Facebook pages as well. GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. Definitely see more information about all these events. These are not big companies putting these on. These are folks like us. You and I, everybody who just want to be able to share our love for this genre, this subject. So please check it out and support. It would be fantastic if you would do so. I just got to look something up here real fast because I didn't want to, since I said it wrong, I'm going to say it right this time. For Char's event, if you want to look on the web, on the interweb, go to charvinityfairs.com. Okay, Charvinity Fairs, and then her Facebook is Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair. That's where you're going to be able to get all that good information. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And Ecto Cruz will be talking a lot more about your event over the next couple weeks. Maybe get you on and talk about it as well. So we got that. Now I got an email. First of all, let's do one thing first. Before we get to question of the week. Question of the week is, what is the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you? Go ahead, put it in the comments. If you want to call in, you can do so too. What is the most unexplainable thing that ever happened to you? I'm just curious about that. So I got a message from Wade, and he's part of the paranormal team Nesper. And Nesper is the paranormal team that it was founded by Ed and Lorraine Warren. And he sent me a note. He's like, hey, guess what? The trailer for The Conjuring Last Rites is now out. And Adam, have you seen that trailer? Have you taken a look at that at all?
No, I didn't know the trailer was out.
Yeah, no, it is. And I'm hoping it's good. And I was very clear with Wade. I mean, not that Wade worked on it, but I mean, he's part of the team and stuff. And, we're talking about a lot of different things. And I was just like, I love the franchise. It's my kind of scary, not too terribly scary, but it's just right. And I just said, I hope it's better than the third one, because the third one was fine, but it felt like to me it lost its way a little bit. So I'm hoping that this is going to kind of move things in a different direction. I mean, I think that Conjuring universe is fantastic, and I just hope that doesn't. I hope it doesn't go away. If this is the last Conjuring film, which I don't think there's ever a last to anything, I hope that other films are made within that universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get to, like, I think it was by the time it got to Paranormal Activity 4 is when a lot of those started losing their guster with me.
Sure.
And yeah, that third Conjuring movie, the end bugged me a little bit.
Well, and that was a plot there, because there was a subplot that never actually happened. There you have the main plot that did happen, then you had this secondary plot that didn't happen.
And I hope they're going to wrap that up with this new flick. But yeah, the subplot, nothing happened with it. That's why I was disappointed in the ending.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, for those who are curious, this is going to be talking about the Smurl family haunting. And I actually knew their daughter Karen for a while, and I haven't talked to her in a while, and I looked her up and on Facebook, and then it's like I see her and it says add friend. So I guess we know where that landed. It happens, right? That's fine. No, my ego isn't bruised or anything. I'm trying to remember if I did a show with her back in my Para X days. I think I did. And I got to look for that, because that would be up on the Patreon, but I remember it being very good. And but for those of you who want to know, according to the New England Society for Psychic Research, which is also known as NESPER, the organization founded by the Warrens and currently co-directed by their son-in-law Tony Spera and daughter Judy Spera, the Smurl family haunting took place in West Pittston, Pennsylvania in the 70s and 80s. During this time, Janet and Jack Smurl, along with their daughters and Jack's parents, moved to a duplex on Chase Street and claimed to experience paranormal activity. The activity allegedly started with missing items and odors that would permeate the house. Janet, Jack, and Jack's mother, Mary, then claimed to have heard voices and seen ominous black masses that would float around the house. The instances surrounding the haunting allegedly got more intense as their family dog was said to have been thrown against a wall. Janet claimed to have been lifted by an invisible presence and then tossed around, and both Janet and Jack claimed that they were molested, sadly, by an entity in the house, according to Nesper's website. So this takes place in 1986. Ed and Lorraine Warren visited the house to investigate the activity. Through their investigation, the Warrens concluded that they believed that there were 4 spirits in the house and that 3 of the spirits were controlled by a demon. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's these are incredible stories, and I have to say this, Adam, I've become more and more under the belief, though, that, changing gears, Amityville is not what it seems. I've really tried hard to believe that one. I've really tried hard to believe that one, but I'm finding that one harder. I do wish that the makers of The Conjuring, and I know it's a totally different copyright situation. I wish that they could have created, like, based on it, a film about these two people who play the Warrens and the Amityville house. What that could have looked like. I would have loved to have seen that.
And, at some point that IP may be available for them to go back and actually do that movie.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's like, I remember the Amityville movie. I want to say it was, God, who was in it? Brolin? No.
I don't remember, but it's someone of that ilk, if not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember the movie being insanely fantastical. I couldn't get behind. But reading about the actual case of Amityville, I find that as probably one of the more extreme cases of infestation, if you will. But I tend to believe that Amityville took place. I think it actually happened. I think it was glorified in the movie, but what I've read about it, the actual case, I think Amityville actually happened.
I think the more interesting part of it, personally, is the DeFeo part with the murders that took place beforehand. I'm going to send you a podcast and ask if you have any free time to read the podcast. Should I just go home now? I am home. Who am I
Just
kidding?
send me the transcript and I can read it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. To listen to the podcast, because it's the way it's broken down. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I can bounce back from it, to be perfectly honest. So, if you're interested in it, I'll send it your way.
Depends on who does the podcast.
I'll send it your way, and you can make the decision.
Okay. If it's a certain bald guy, the answer is going to be no. I'm not going to listen to it.
No. It's not. It's not him. Not him at all. No.
Okay,
No.
so it's not Matt McNeil. Okay.
No.
Love you, Matt. I'm kidding.
It's your job, not mine. On the line there. So yeah, no, that is it's an interesting podcast in general.
Right.
So I just kind of stumbled across it about 2 months ago, and I was like, some of it I'm really enjoying, some of it's interesting. So yeah, I'll send it your way, and you can decide whether it's worth your time or not. So yeah,
That's fair.
it's very interesting, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I think those two playing the Warrens are fantastic. Sometimes I think that the end credits are actually better than the films, because they're actually, over the credits, they're playing all of the real recordings.
Yeah, the archival audio and video. Oh yeah. And sadly, I almost bought the Ed and Lorraine Funkos to set in the background here. And I thought about it for a minute. It's like, no, I really shouldn't. But yeah, I thought about getting the Ed and Lorraine Funkos to set up here.
Well, the reason not to do it, for only one reason, is you don't want the snakes to swallow them whole. So,
well, we know which one got them if they're walking around with the big, rectangle.
right, it'd be easier to pick up and take out of the building. That's for sure.
Yeah, they would be, instead of finding the napkins to grab them and set them outside.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my goodness. So that is cool. Why don't we do this? Once again, folks, the question of the week this week is, what's the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you? And if you want to call in with an answer, 952-946-6205, or if you want to put something in the comments, we have answers that we're going to read, and we're going to do that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll do question of the week. We'll wrap up this week of GhostBox Radio, and we'll just ease into the weekend. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. It's that time of year again where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lilliput is the perfect place and is open for the season. Be the first to take on their newest escape room, The Bunker. It's intense, exciting, and totally unforgettable. Prefer spooky? Try the Haunted Mansion. When you're done escaping, hit the mini golf course, go-karts, and jump pads. Lilliput is perfect for parties and group events too. Visit lilliput.net for hours and start your spring adventures at Lilliput.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And we are heading into the weekend. It's Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio. Join us Monday on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. I was actually last Monday, I was not feeling great, so I canceled the show that we're going to do the Paranormal Roundtable with Wade Kirby, Debbie Romero, Jeremy York, and luckily they're all available on Monday. And we're going to do it again. Originally, it was meant to celebrate on May 3rd, National Paranormal Day. We're getting further and further away from it, but that's okay. We're going to have a great conversation on Monday. So please definitely join us for that. That's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that. And just looking through comments here and stuff. There was something else I was going to say. Left me, but it'll come back. Don't worry. It's, that's how it works. Question of the week. What's the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you, Adam?
When I was like 13 or 14 years old, I know that I was in my bed. I was dead asleep. I wake up and I am right next to my ceiling and I drop. I hit the bed. My mom, my aunt come running in because obviously it was loud enough for them to hear. Can't explain it. I have no idea what happened. I just know I was within inches from the Kathy Ireland poster that was on my ceiling and just dropping. No clue what it was. Still probably, and I think I've talked about it on the show. I don't remember if I've talked about this or not, but that is probably the strangest thing out of everything that has ever happened to me.
I don't remember you talking about it, to be honest.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I talked about this.
I don't think so. Now, did you hurt yourself?
No, I didn't hurt myself. I landed right back on my bed, but it was loud enough that my aunt and my mom came running in there. Early in the morning. It would have been before 5 a.m. because neither one of them were up to go to work yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sometime probably in between midnight and 5 a.m. when it happened.
My goodness. Wow. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. I would say for myself, and the question is, what's the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you? One thing that, I saw that Shar had responded, and what she had said was, I don't know where to pick. So many impacted me in different ways. So I can't say one is more important than the other. You have been there for some of the most impactful ones, meaning me. And I'm going to say probably for me, there's two that stick out in my mind. One is, and I've meant to pull up the picture, someone did a drawing rendering of the type of ships coming out of a vortex that I've talked about a number of times. I saw outside of John's backyard a few years back now, and I don't have explanation for it other than that, we've seen people talk about it. And the other is what we call 18 minutes at the Grant House. And you may have heard us talk about this before. We don't ever, Shar and I don't ever talk about it outside of doing presentations about it, because it is one of those type of stories that you really have to give. You have to be there and be, invested in what is happening, because the payoff is so great on it. But it is just the highlights of it. It's an investigation that took place amongst multiple people on different floors, connected, but one is unconnected completely. And all of our responses were in this all the same, and we were getting like responses on different types of equipment, such as spirit box, EVPs, seeing shadows, getting knocks on the wall, seeing full-bodied apparitions. This was over the course of 18 minutes, and it ends. It actually, there's an ending to it. There's a start and an ending, and I will never. I will always be grateful. Why don't we go that route? I will always be grateful that I was fortunate enough to be a part of that, because it is one of the most beautiful things I've ever been a part of. But it's also one of the most incredible and intense paranormal experiences I personally have ever had. And there was so many more people that were a part of it that played an active role in it. It's incredible, and hopefully we'll do it again someday. Maybe we'll do it at Ghost Stories or something again, where maybe not on the night that waitress is there, but we can do it and really get the idea of how impactful that was. And that's that's when people talk about what paranormal means to them, and they're talking about, some people might think of different TV shows or scary moments or whatever else. If someone asks me what do I think paranormal is those 18 minutes is what it comes down to for me every single time. It's truly so beautiful and so rewarding. So there, that was me talking about that for 45 minutes. So
Yeah, and for the event to only take 18 minutes, geez, man.
yeah, right. Is much I might as well just gone through it from me.
It's like the Oliver Stone version of your 18 minutes.
It's almost like an Adam length answer, and
Hey.
Yeah, well,
I can just give you yes and no's. I can be like some of the authors we have on here.
was that a little too close to home there? Okay.
No, I'm just saying I can be like some of the authors. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
No.
as long as they're not on Ghost Hunters, I really think we should be fine. So Shar says definitely life-changing and mind-blowing. It really was. And the incredible thing about this, and I think a lot of us have this when we've been doing this long enough. There are so many. It's like, how do I choose one? Actually, to be very honest, there's so many amazing things that have happened. Getting to other people who have answered, and once again, the question is, what's the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you? Let's see. Tracy says, too many to list, but just recently my son and I moved to an apartment in Albertville. You are right up the road from me, by the way, right up the road. I don't know if you want to hear that or not. And now before I go to bed, I have to place 2 rubber bands on the faucet in hopes of preventing them from being turned on during the night. I'm not worried about having a guest around, as I'm more worried about high water bill. She included a picture, and it's one of those faucets that you have to lift up for the water to come out. So
yeah, I saw that on your Facebook page when I answered mine, and I read what she had said. It's just like, yeah, no, I'd get an entirely different faucet, and then if it kept happening, then I'd probably call you.
Yeah. Someone did that yesterday. They called me and I gave them some interesting advice. Hopefully that works for them. Christy answers the question once again. What's the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you? Christy says, something physically shoved my cat when I told him to get down off the coffee table. Like sounds like that. She told the cat to get off the coffee table, and someone took her request like seriously and pushed the cat off. I saw his whole body move to the side, and then he looked in the same direction. Spooked as hell. Wow. Here's one that Tammy wrote. Tammy, who owns the Calumet, and I remember her talking about this. She says, loud, unexplainable music at the Calumet. And I remember her talking about it, and that is freaky stuff, because from what I understand, when she says loud, it was very, very, very loud, where they had to track it down and see if there's somebody in a room somewhere blasting music. Incredible.
That is cool.
It is. It
That
is really
super
cool. Well, and the Calumet, my first experience in the Calumet was basically I was in a room. It was in the middle of the night. I had everything off in the room, and I'm just sleeping there. Well, I'm not sleeping because I can't sleep in these locations very well. And all of a sudden, everything in the room turns on and turns off.
That's neat.
I was like, what? What just happened? And so I go downstairs. Well, actually, no, because Ryan and John and Tammy come up to my room and they're like, we want to talk about something. It's like, well, thank goodness I wasn't sleeping. And I go down to the bar where they were all meeting and stuff, and that's where the soda pop guns, they get out of their holster and they just start flying around. They're not spraying; they're just flying around.
I need to go hang out the Calumet.
The Calumet's amazing.
That seems like a blast.
Yeah, it's one of the best places. I wish it was open. I'm hoping it's opening. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Brian says, having a bruise on the inside of my leg after the people I was with tell me someone was on the couch with me, and it happened at Waverly Hills. Okay. Never been. The question once again is, what's the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you? And Sarah answers, life. That's true. Lynette says, I currently have something in my house that likes to knock a cat scratching tree over and knock things off the wall. The cat tree has a large base and is hard to knock over. We tested it. I've caught orbs with a camera I set up, but never seemed to catch it moving things. Nicole says, and I know this one, we were just talking about it this week. She says, seeing my dad moving around in his garage only to go into their house to find he was in the house the whole time. There was somebody else there and not a living person. That's pretty crazy.
Ooh, would that be doppelganger action?
I have a feeling, and since it's not my story to tell, I'm not going to say what I felt it was. But I think that I think it's connected to the family. But that's just my guess. Chris says, sounds of a child toy piano playing coming through an unplugged baby monitor, as well as a baby crying. There you go.
That's creepy.
What do you think of that there, huh? That's
all right. You win the creepy prize.
I was just gonna say, wow. that's one that looks like Adam will be sleeping with the lights on again tonight.
Yep. Night. No, thanks, buddy.
Piano. Danielle says, when I was 6 or 7, I woke up to see a woman at the foot of my bed. Later on, I saw a picture of my grandmother just before she died. It was her at the foot of my bed.
Oof. Nuts.
Man, you all have some problems. That's all I know. No, I'm just kidding. But
that entire family that I married into is weird. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, those are fantastic. First of all, thank you, people, for actually answering this week. That helps a lot. Let's see here. Stacy says, when I was little, I remember floating to the front door and waking up in my closet. Wow.
Oof. Yeah, I don't know about floating to the front door. If I was a kid, I would have just left. They kept floating away until I got to Minnesota.
Yeah, there's some incredible things.
But I'm glad I'm not the only one who had a floating one, because that one to me is still the weirdest. How anybody talks about levitating, even those who I've been able to work on meditation to even levitate. Anything levitation to me is insanely, exceptionally odd, and I do want to know more about it.
What's the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you? Linda Judd says, when I was a toddler, I was visited by two, she didn't write this very well. No offense, Linda. I had 2 visits. Okay, there we go. When I was a toddler, I had 2 visits by about 15 little gray beings. At the time, I thought they were made of silly putty. One approached me, and I poked my finger in its belly. They all ran away, and I pray that the one you stuck your finger in the belly went, whoo-hoo. Linda's like, is this show really live? I don't know. I mean, you think if it was pre-recorded, it'd be better, wouldn't you? I mean, come on.
Or one take wonders. What are you talking about?
Right. We're radio professionals. So yeah, no, this is live.
Ish.
Yeah, live-ish. Yeah. So no, Linda, that's a great one. She then says the second time they visited, one approached me and I rolled it into a ball and dropped it on the floor to see if it would bounce. It bounced and they all ran away. The same 15 beings as before. Well, that's interesting.
That is cool, though. I wonder if that's little puck wedgies.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
It's
I
so
never really, I've never really thought it was if we're going off the assumption that maybe they're grays. I never really thought about the consistency. Like if you touch them, are they like skin and they might get a bone? Because I never really think about bones for aliens, but we could talk about that.
Question, yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about that. We're already at the end of the show. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed us and that you'll come back next week. Listen more. We're going to do our paranormal roundtable with Wade, Jeremy, and Debbie Romero. Everyone, have a fantastic weekend. Adam, as always, thank you very much for running the board and talking with me tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's always great to have you on. And reach out to us. If you have any comments or anything, send me a note, comment at GhostBoxRadio.com, and we'll be back next week. Everyone, have a safe weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
It's Brad Friedman, host of the Bradcast. Weeknight